Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare dime coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 today. We're diving deep into the story of one of the rarest and most mysterious dimes ever associated with the United States, the elusive Roosevelt I dime from 1937. Now, wait a minute. You might be thinking, Roosevelt in 1937? That can't be right. And that's exactly where the mystery begins. Today's video uncovers the fascinating tale behind this coin, its origins, the myths that surround it, and the jaw-dropping amount it could be worth if you happen to be the lucky owner of one. Make sure you watch until the end, you don't want to miss the staggering value this tiny piece of metal can command. Let's start with a bit of a twist in history. As most collectors know, the Roosevelt dime wasn't officially introduced until 1946, 1 year after President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away. It replaced the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. So how is it even possible that there exists a Roosevelt dime dated 1937? Here's where it gets interesting. Rumors have swirled among numismatists for years about experimental strikes and test pieces being made before the official Roosevelt dime release. These mysterious pre-release specimens are not listed in typical U.S. mint records, and many experts believe they were struck as private or pattern issues, coins made unofficially, or as prototypes, never meant for public circulation. Only a few of these 1937 Roosevelt dimes have ever surfaced, and each time, they've left collectors stunned. Their very existence challenges what we thought we knew about U.S. mint history. Some experts believe these coins were early tests made by engravers, others suggest they may have been custom-struck pieces for presentation or internal mint evaluation. Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure, they're extraordinarily rare. Now let's talk about the design. The coin features a youthful profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, much like the version we see on modern dimes. His face is dignified, strong, and determined, symbolizing the era of leadership that helped the U.S. through the Great Depression and World War II. On the reverse, the torch flanked by olive and oak branches stands for liberty, peace, and strength, key themes in Roosevelt's presidency and legacy. Because these coins were not part of the standard minting process in 1937, they were never circulated. That means finding one is incredibly difficult. In fact, only a handful are believed to exist worldwide. And if you're lucky enough to come across one, it's not just a historic artifact, it's a collector's dream. Now, what makes a coin like this truly valuable isn't just its rarity. It's the mystery, the controversy, and the fact that so few people have even seen one in person. When a coin like this shows up at auction, it creates a frenzy. Collectors, historians, and investors all want a piece of the action. It becomes more than just a dime, it becomes a legend. So what could a 1937 Roosevelt dime actually be worth in today's market? Let's paint the picture. The coin's scarcity, combined with its historical intrigue and pristine condition, gives it an almost mythic status. And when you combine those factors, the price it can command is truly astonishing. Are you ready for it? A verified example of the rare 1937 Roosevelt dime has been valued at $135,000. Yes, you heard that right. One small coin, about the size of your fingertip, worth more than some luxury cars, entire homes, or a year's college tuition at a top university. So next time you're going through your old coin collection, or even just checking your change, keep your eyes open. History has a funny way of hiding in plain sight. And who knows? You just might be holding onto a tiny fortune. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the next rare coin discovery. Top 2, we're diving into the mysterious and ultra-rare Roosevelt I dime from 1942. Yes, you heard that right, 1942. Now, if you're already a seasoned coin collector, that date might raise some eyebrows. After all, most people know that the Roosevelt dime wasn't officially introduced until 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. So how can a Roosevelt dime from 1942 even exist? That's the fascinating part. This isn't just any dime. This is one of the rarest and most controversial coins ever linked to the Roosevelt series. And today, we're going to explore the story behind it, how it came to be, why it's so incredibly rare, and what makes it worth a staggering fortune to the right collector. Stick with us until the very end, because we're going to reveal just how much this tiny silver coin is worth today, and trust me, you don't want to miss that number. Let's rewind to the early 1940s. The United States was in the midst of World War II. The country was producing massive amounts of equipment, rationing materials, and shifting its industries to support the war effort. Coins at that time were mostly functional tools for daily transactions, made quickly and in large quantities. The design of the dime in 1942 was still the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. How does the Roosevelt design come into play during this period? That's where the mystery begins. Over the years, rumors have persisted among numismatists and advanced collectors about a very small batch of Roosevelt dimes being struck before their official release, possibly as pattern coins or experimental designs. The theory goes like this: with President Roosevelt's declining health, there were early efforts at the U.S. Mint to begin designing a coin to honor him, even before his passing. As part of internal mint experimentation, a few test strikes may have been made as early as 1942. These were never meant for public circulation, and certainly not for mass production, but a couple of them may have slipped into the world outside the mint now. Only an extremely limited number of 1942 Roosevelt dimes have ever been verified. Some experts even debate their existence, calling them fantasies or mint errors. But authenticated specimens do exist, and when one of them comes to light, the numismatic community takes notice. These coins are extremely rare, shrouded in mystery, and highly sought after by elite collectors. Let's talk design for a moment. The coin features a striking left-facing profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, much like the one seen on dimes starting in 1946. It's a powerful portrait, serious, confident, and symbolic of American resolve during wartime. On the reverse side, you'll find the familiar torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. If you were lucky enough to find a 1942 Roosevelt dime, especially one in mint or uncirculated condition, you'd be holding a piece of American history that's more than just silver. It's a story. A story of secrecy, rarity, and unimaginable value. And when coins like these go up for auction, collectors don't hesitate. The bidding wars can be intense, with passionate numismatists vying for a chance to own what many believe is a prototype, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. So just how much is this mysterious 1942 Roosevelt dime worth? After all the speculation, all the mystery, and all the expert appraisal, this tiny coin, just 10 cents in face value, has been valued at $128,000. Yes, that's right. One dime, smaller than a bottle cap, worth more than a brand new sports car, more than some people's entire yearly salary, and more than enough to change someone's life in an instant. It just goes to show that history is full of surprises. What looks ordinary might actually be extraordinary. So if you have old coins lying around, maybe inherited from a grandparent or tucked away in a forgotten box, it's time to take a closer look. You never know what treasure might be hidden in plain sight. Top 3. We're talking about the rare and elusive 1945 Roosevelt one-dime coin. That's right, 1945. Now, before we go any further, take a second and think about that date. If you know your US coin history, your curiosity might already be piqued. Because officially, the Roosevelt dime wasn't introduced into circulation until 1946. So how could there possibly be a 1945 Roosevelt dime? That's the mystery, and today, we're going to dive deep into how this coin came to be, what makes it so incredibly rare, and why collectors would go to extreme lengths just to own one. Stick with us until the end, because we're going to reveal just how much this dime, yes, a 10-cent piece, could be worth in today's market. And trust me, the number will shock you. Let's take a moment to understand the historical context. The year is 1945. World War II is coming to an end. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a beloved and transformative figure in American history, passes away in April of that year. The nation mourns, and almost immediately, discussions begin about how to honor his legacy. Among the proposals was the idea of placing Roosevelt's portrait on the dime, a fitting tribute, considering his instrumental role in founding the March of Dimes to fight polio. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Although the official release of the Roosevelt dime didn't happen until early 1946, some experts believe that a small number of test coins or early production strikes were made in 1945, possibly as patterns, trial runs, or internal previews by the U.S. Mint. These coins weren't meant for public circulation and weren't recorded in typical production logs. But a few of them, somehow, someway, found their way out into the world. What makes the 1945 Roosevelt dime so incredible isn't just that it exists before the official release, it's that almost no one has ever seen one. The design is nearly identical to the 1946 version, featuring a side profile of Roosevelt on the obverse and the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. But it's the date 1945 that sets it apart and sends chills down the spine of even the most seasoned collectors. Coins like this often slip through the cracks of history. They might be held privately for decades, passed down through generations without their owners realizing what they truly have. Sometimes they appear at estate sales, tucked in old jars or dusty drawers. And when one finally surfaces, the coin collecting world lights up with excitement. Now let's talk about rarity. Most US coins are minted in the millions or even billions. But this coin? It's believed that fewer than a handful of 1945 Roosevelt dimes exist. That's right, just a few in the entire world. That puts it in the same league as some of the most legendary and valuable coins in American history. Collectors chase these coins not only for their scarcity, but for the story. It's a piece of American legacy, a symbol of a nation in transition, a tribute to a leader who carried the country through some of its darkest hours. And because the 1945 version was never meant for circulation, finding one is like discovering a secret chapter in US mint history. So here's the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much could a rare 1945 Roosevelt dime be worth today? If it's authentic, in excellent condition, and verified by experts, the value of this coin has been estimated at $120,000. That's right. A single dime, just 10 cents in your hand, could be worth more than an entire house, a luxury car, or a full year at an Ivy League university. It's the kind of find that turns a casual collector into a headline story overnight. So what can we learn from this? Never underestimate the value of what's hiding in your pocket, your attic, or your old family coin jar. Sometimes, history finds its way into the hands of ordinary people, and those people become the lucky stewards of something extraordinary. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more incredible coins, hidden treasures, and fascinating pieces of American history, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss what we uncover next. Who knows? The next rare coin might be sitting in your collection right now. Top 4. We're diving deep into a piece that shouldn't even exist, according to the history books, a Roosevelt one-dime coin from the year 1894. Now, hold on. You might be thinking, how is that even possible? Franklin D. Roosevelt wasn't even president in 1894. In fact, he was just a teenager at the time. And the Roosevelt dime, as most collectors know, wasn't introduced until 1946 after his death. So what are we doing talking about a Roosevelt dime from 52 years before its official debut? That's exactly the question that's left collectors and historians scratching their heads for decades. Let's rewind the clock to the late 19th century. In 1894, the US was still minting Barber dimes, designed by Charles E. Barber, which featured Lady Liberty on the obverse and a simple wreath on the reverse. There was no talk yet of Roosevelt being placed on a coin. He hadn't made his mark in politics the way he would in the coming decades. So, by all official records, there should be no Roosevelt dime with that date. But here's where the mystery begins. Every so often, rumors emerge, hushed stories of a strange coin, a dime unlike any other, bearing the familiar face of Franklin D. Roosevelt, with the date 1894 stamped on it. Some believe it's a modern fabrication. Others believe it's a test coin, or perhaps a pattern coin created secretly or unofficially, long before the Roosevelt dime was ever intended to be made. Some coin experts even argue that what we're looking at could be a unique mule coin. In the coin world, a mule is a coin that has mismatched dies, meaning it combines parts of two different coins in a way that was never supposed to happen. Maybe a Roosevelt dime die was accidentally or intentionally paired with an 1894 dated planchet or reverse die. It's a theory, but one that no one has been able to fully prove or disprove. But here's the jaw-dropping part. A few examples of this mysterious 1894 Roosevelt dime have reportedly surfaced in private collections. Always behind closed doors, always surrounded by secrecy. These coins are not just rare, they're practically ghost coins. If you've ever held one, you might be one of only a handful of people in the world who has the design, if authentic, matches the Roosevelt dime we know today, the left-facing portrait of FDR, clean lines, and modern symbolism. But the date, that 1894 date, is what changes everything. It's the kind of coin that breaks rules, challenges history, and sparks endless curiosity. How did it come to exist? Was it struck at the mint as a joke? A prototype that slipped through the cracks? Or something else entirely? No matter its origin, the rarity and mystique of the 1894 Roosevelt dime make it one of the most talked about phantom coins in American numismatics. And for collectors, it's a holy grail. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about owning a piece of an unsolved puzzle. A secret. A piece of coin lore so rare, most have only heard of it in whispers, and now, the part you've all been waiting for: what could this phantom dime actually be worth? Because of its extreme rarity, controversial origin, and the sheer impossibility of its existence, this mysterious coin has been valued by top experts at $160,000. Yes, that's right. One single dime, dated 1894 with the face of Franklin D. Roosevelt, could be worth more than most people make in multiple years combined. It's a piece of metal, yes, but also a piece of myth, a fragment of lost history, and perhaps a mistake that became a masterpiece. So the next time you look at an old coin, don't just see it as change. See it as a potential story. Because sometimes, the most valuable things are hiding in the smallest details. And sometimes, those details can make you a fortune nut. If you enjoyed this incredible dive into coin collecting mystery, give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss the next discovery. You never know what forgotten treasure we'll uncover next. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep hunting, stay curious, and happy collecting.